Hello everybody, it's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So this is going to be a server update for you on the Mega server. So first, I'm going to go to the leaderboards. Fellowships, because honestly, fellowship's more important than the personal rewards. So, here we go. Bear and Panda are in Gundor, and they are number 1 and 2 in farming. You have Layman Order in Erebor. They are 3 and 5. You have Toby and Step in Angmar, which is 4th and 7th. And then you have Gods and Merc in Arnor, 6th and 8th. And I guess I can say you have Iron in Linden, who is 9th. And then each one of the factions have a small group inside of it. Whether it's third team of alts or just stragglers coming into the server, it is what it is. So, now we will talk about affluence. And there's no surprise here. The majority of these are gonna be Erebor and Gundor because, just quite frankly, they got more room. So, you got Beasts in first, Kitten Caboodle in second, and our very own Raven in third, which is great that he's been able to keep his affluence high. I will scroll through. You have Fellow that's up in 7th, he's in Gundor. So I'm also going to be adding from my season updates, I'm going to be doing different segments every week. A little kind of fun goof around, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Now I know everybody wants to know about merit. Raven, our very own Raven, is number 1, which is no surprise. Even though this is a server full of Krakens and whales, my money's on Raven to be first or second throughout the season. As you can see, I only got 28,000. Trust me, it's not from fighting, and I will explain that as well in a little bit. Because smaller guys, unless you're killing off armies, you do not gain much merit during. Oh, and here's King Under the Mountain, which this season, King of Grogmar is in 19th. Law is in 24th. I know he had to take yesterday off. I pretty much expect him to be up there in rankings as well. Okay, so now the leaderboards are done. Now I'm going to go to the map. So you have us in Angmar with the purple up here. You have this one team in Linden. You have Arnor here. Then you have the Erebor over here and Gundor down here. So, as you can see, there is absolutely no pins in the east. Not a single one. But over here in the west, you have Angmar and Arnor fighting. And we have 3 battle pins, as you can see. This one's a 5.1 million pin. This one is 2.9. And that's not going to, oh, there it is. And then another 2.0 million pin. So, like I said, you do not see a single pin in the east. So, here's one thing I'm going to talk about, and it is completely obvious. North, east, and south have such a huge advantage on this map. And people are going to say, well, everybody's got 2 passes to spawns, to a center, blah, blah, blah. So, let's talk about this, okay? Gundor, for one, at Chapter 4, is able to invade 2 places, Mordor and Rohan. Okay? You have Erebor that can invade Lothlorien and Ruin. Well, in the west, at Chapter 4, Arnor can't get to Gundor. They can only get to Linden through here or to Angmar there. So right off the bat, there's a lot less land. and a lot less accessibility. Same thing with us. We can get to Linden or we can get to Arnor. So there's one disadvantage from the West. Now here's the second. Okay, the West has two passes into the center. Okay, so they have the land between here and this corner over here. So say either way, Arnor or us had all this area to the left. We could build forts along the border, correct? Correct. Well, we're not making it very far. Where if you look at Erebor, or where Lord Lorien would be, they could make forts all the way across this top and down this side. So that is a huge starting spot for them. As soon as they take that pass, they have instant range to so much more into the center. And then same thing with Gondor, Rohan, Mordor, whatever, down here. Same thing. They can pretty much fort all the way around and have a huge area of instant range. So, that kind of sucks. Well, as you can see, Erebor and Gondor have both moved west farming. They haven't fought any. So you have Angmar and Arnor that have been fighting. So that also kind of hurts your development on your buildings and your barracks. So that's what it is. So we shall see what happens. Now, for the first fun segment on my season updates that I'm going to start. And it's going to start with a nice little intro. So, with that being said, obviously, on this segment, it is going to be about Law, our very own Law, and some of his reports. So, I'm going to start with this one, which was his B team. And as his B team, he's running Undying, Shadow, Dane, and Gandalf the Grey. The Dane is kind of negotiable. Sometimes he'll flip between Dane or Bjorn inside of his main, depending on what he's doing. And then I'll just show you a few more that he was very nice to share with me, which I love seeing Law. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable about the game, good conversations, and Law doing his thing and beating up on some Arnor, which is great to see. So there's that little segment. Now I have my reports that I'm going to share. So I am running a different kind of formation. I am trying to find a friendly, free-to-play army. Something that the smaller players can kind of try to build to give them shots at some of these bigger whales. So, first and foremost, let's go into it and look. And this is what I'm running. I am running Frodo, Gandalf the Grey, Dane, and Sauron. Yes, I know people are going to say, well, that's two mythics. How is that going to be free-to-play friendly? Well, the key to it is, one, Sauron is going to be respect level 4. And that's all you need to get his debuff skill, his added damage skill, and then a chance at stun and madness throughout the fight. On my Sauron, I made him as fast as I could. I don't have any agility set effects. So I just used items that did help his kit, his skills, but gave me initiative. Otherwise, there's no way in the world I'm going to use a Sandclaw. So that was my thoughts on my Sauron. Is for me, I am going to try to be a little bit faster than their Sauron so I can get their debuffs. That way, when their Sauron debuffs me, the debuff isn't as bad. Plus, possibly getting a couple extra shots of madness or stun in the mix to where they are hurting themselves. So, my formation is a 3 support formation. And some people are going to say, well, you should run a second damage dealer to get that extra damage. So I'm going to explain something to a lot of people. My normal go-to formation is Frodo, Gandalf the Grey, Dane, and Gimli, who I do have ascended with his relic. The problem with that is I had no crowd control. So these whales were killing me, and I was only taking out 200, 400, maybe 1,000 worth of supply out of them. So what I want to do is I'm always going to want to cause draws, because as a free-to-play or mostly free-to-play, I am not going to be able to kill these whales. So I want to cause a draw to either slow down their advance or cause the draw so that one of my teammates can come finish them off. So I could do that with my 2 damage dealer formation, but I wasn't causing any damage because I had no crowd control. So with this formation, I am getting some crowd control. I am going to scroll down here. See, I'm getting, like this fight, I got 7 anomalies from Sauron. Now, if you look over here in the bottom right, he suffered from 9 anomalies, and I only caused 7. So that means I was able to madden or stun the right person on him, which would have probably been Sauron, and he caused madness or stun to somebody else. And let me go back into this, and I will show you the gear I'm working with. I'm using Frodo. I have my gear. This is the best I could do. I have my Gandalf the Grey. Yes, he's ascended. I did get his relic because I was trying something out. I do not recommend Gandalf Grey trying to run as a tank. But that's me and my free-to-play, I should say smaller account. And here is my Dane, and you already saw my Sauron. So this was the first fight I had of the season. And this guy is definitely no slouch. Z6 Dane. Z3 Gandalf the White. Z2 Aramor. And a Respect 11 Sauron. So, as you can see, I took half of his health, half of his supply. I am 100% happy with that. Yes, great beasts are very expensive, but if you can afford them, I would love to run them. They make Frodo shine. He is so hard to kill. Now, I'm also going to show you this other one against the same person at a later date. Okay. And as you can see, I only took, a third of his supply down, but I still took a chunk out of him. And normally, when I was running the 2 damage dealers in my formation, Gimli instead of Sauron, I would only deal, say, 400 or 500 supply damage to him. Again, because I didn't have the crowd control. So the 3 supports, with Sauron being one of them, might be the way to go for free-to-play, smaller accounts, if you're going to be facing just whales. Now, the problem with this is, if you are going to just be fighting regular-sized players, you're not going to do enough damage to kill them. So it's a trade-off. But I know I am mostly going to be fighting whales in this server. And this one was a pretty even fight. And as you can see, he does have a little bit of purple mixed in. He's not fully maxed or refined. His respect levels are a lot like mine. So here's that. If I did have my 2 damage dealers, I probably would have done a little bit more damage to him. But again, I'm going to be fighting more people bigger than me than I am my size or smaller. Here was another one. I took almost a third of his out. And we got the Respect 6 Sauron, but then you got the Z2 Gimli, a Z7 Gandalf the White, and a Z1 Sestaro. And I think one of the reasons he did, I read some of a report, and one of the big factors for him actually doing as well as he did was those Woes Hunters. they are great because they give you initiative on the first 4 rounds. So, and on this one, yeah, this one I didn't have. My Sauron didn't act first. Let's go. Here we got Pac-Man. Okay, I know he's not full. Neither was I at this point, but he's a lot more my size. I mean, he's got an R6 Dane, same as me. Our Saurons are both R4. And then he's got R9 Shadow and an R4 Gandalf the White. So he is a lot more my size. And I was still able to win and do quite a bit of damage. But running the 3 supports, I'm not going to be able to kill him. Here's another one. I took him down more than half. And we're looking at R9 Gandalf the White. And he does have some classic gear. 11 Dane, 12 Shadow, and a 6 Sauron. We got Clark here, and I took about a quarter of his damage here. So I am actually quite happy with how this system is working. R15 Gimli. Nice. So, like I said, this might be a way forward for free-to-play and smaller accounts. I did try out the Wraiths. So the Wraiths have a skill a lot like the Shire Ponies. Random formation melee unit takes normal attack damage in place of the Wraiths. But all wounded units die after battle. Wraiths can become very, very expensive. That is a nice skill about the protection. I did try running double Wraiths, and they do protect each other sometimes. So that is something to be careful about. But it was worth something to test out. And then for the last report that I had saved, the SVK, we have R10 Gandalf the White, R11 Dane, R7 Bjorn. Need to get rid of that box, buddy. And Lord of Arcane doesn't help him at all. So make the best you can for him. Don't worry about the set effects. The stats and the abilities of the items are more important. And he has a nice Sauron full agility set. So there's that. And I don't know if you took a notice at my merit down here. I am not getting much merit per fight. Well, that was the one I was just in. Like if you look up here at Clark, 1700 merit, 1300. I mean, I took out a quarter of his army. On these, 1300. On this one, McGravity, 2400. I mean, that one was okay, but like I said, I don't get that much merit per fight because I am don't have the killing power that everyone else does. So, there's the reports. I should have started with this. Come on. I've been doing this long enough. We are at the end of day 8. We are on season progression 6. So we have a day and a half until the passes between spawn lands open. Right here, right here, right here, which doesn't matter because there's no one in Mordor and Gondor's just farming. Same thing with down here in Rohan. And Erebor, same thing. But both teams have already worked their way around other places. So, it should be interesting. They definitely have the resources. They're going to have full barracks because they haven't fought anybody. So, we'll see what the next move is. If both teams, Erebor and Gondor, are going to try to gang up on the west and go through the spawn lands. Are we going to go up and try to stop them? I don't know, but there is definitely a big advantage here for the East. And I hope we can figure out ways to level the playing field. But it's definitely going to be interesting. So, the next season report is going to be full of a bunch of blood. So, as always, make the most out of what you got.